We're talking about the worst advice that you can give to Christian singles. Before we get into it though, some stats. I found some stats that, did you know there are 28 million single people in the UK right now.
Wow.
And by the year 2039, the predictions are that 1 in 7 of us will be living on our own, which is quite sad. And it goes to show that maybe the advice that we're giving to singles is not very good at all. Because if it's on a steady decline, that 1 in 7 people will be living on their own for the foreseeable future. We're not doing a very good job at advising Christians or just people in general on how to be single. What do you do when you're single? Rob, what's some advice that you've got on being single that has not helped you?
I don't know. I've been single for the majority of my life, to be honest.
Right.
I've always craved to be in a not single.
Have you?
Yeah, I've never got to the point where, like, you know, when you see all them Christians and like, oh yeah, you just got to be content. Like I just became content being single. I don't think I've ever got to that place. I think so, but I think what helps be like definitely. I think if you're single, you need to be more intentional with your connections and your relationships, because a person in a relationship is getting their soul needs met very easily and very quickly. I think that's why, like, you see when, like, you sometimes a mate gets a girlfriend, or if you have a friend that gets a boyfriend, they kind of get sucked into the vortex, and you don't hear from them again. It's not because they don't like you, but it's just because they're getting their emotional needs met in a very quickly and accessible way. So I think if you're single, you can still get them needs met, but you just need to, be intentional with people and really make a point of hanging out with people to get them emotional needs. Because you can get some romantic needs met through, like, needs for connection. Doesn't have to be a spouse that kind of brings that. So I would say definitely be intentional about friendships and hanging out with people.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to do that. We're going to talk more about what we can do. What's some good advice for Christians, but the bad advice? So you'd say just when people say be content with your singleness, you know, when people say that to you, does that make you feel like you're failing at Christianity? Because whenever I used to get that, like, you should just be content in your single season. Singleness is a gift. I feel like, so why don't I feel like that? Am I just a really bad Christian then? Because I don't feel like singleness is a gift for me at the moment. I feel like it's the bait of my life.
It's okay to be, like, not happy single. Like, and it's like, I feel a lot of times it's just performative, innit? Like, they're saying, like, it's kind of, they're not actually that happy, but, like, they want to, it's like the right thing to say. And it will get me, like, points in Christianity. It'll get me God points if I say that. But yeah, I think if
you master singleness, I guess people want to feel like they've completed singleness, and if they're happy with it, then, you know, they're super duper spiritual.
I'm not completing singleness.
I don't want to complete singleness.
It's not a game that attracts me. I don't want to climb the mountain of this game. I'd rather just get married.
100%. So I've got a list. Just rather get married. That's completing singleness for me. Getting married. It's completing the game.
My advice for single people: get married.
Get married. That's the best. Just get married. Like, gosh. Say that. But I came across a list. It was actually a Reddit list of Christians complaining about, not complaining, sorry, I can't say the word complaining, but they were sharing what the worst advice they've gotten is. And here is some of the top ones. So someone said, marry someone rich. That's a piece of advice that they got as a Christian single. Someone told them, just marry someone rich and you'll be fine.
Right.
Terrible advice.
Yeah, it's not good,
someone said, you'll be happier when you find someone. You'll get there. Don't worry.
Oh, that is the worst.
You'll get there.
You'll get there.
You'll get there. Oh,
so
stop it.
Isn't it?
It's very patronising. You'll get there. Don't worry.
I really hate the one like, oh, God's God's got someone for you.
God's got someone for you.
Yeah.
Well, where are they then? Because where? Let me know. Oh,
Like,
it happens when you stop looking. That's another one.
Oh, I hate that one. I hate that one.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It happens when you stop looking.
People, and they just feel that they want to encourage you, but
they are well-intentioned people, and I think, when people give advice for anything, they are meaning well. But there are some things that you can say to people, and it's better to not be said. Another one was what you said: be content in your singleness, because singleness is a gift.
Oh, I that's the worst Christmas present ever. I don't want that. Oh, that's a joke. Yeah,
you could take that back.
I don't know. I mean, Jesus was single and Paul was single. Like, there's value to it for sure, but like, I don't know, not for everybody, is it? And like, when you try and say you should be excited with like this present, this gift, when it's like the equivalent of like your granddad giving you socks for Christmas, but. Yeah, I don't know. That's a hot. Yeah, it's all right for them to say if they're married.
Yeah. But I mean, people always use the examples of Jesus and Paul because they were single and they gave their life to ministry and they did that. But there's so much in the Bible as well that points towards marriage, and it points very clearly. It literally says in the first book of the Bible, it's not good for man to be alone. Yeah. In the very first book. The very first one, it says, no, actually, we need people. And so when I feel as though sometimes I'm not single anymore, but when I was single, people would almost try and be like, well, Jesus was single. Paul you should be as happy as they were and you should be as content as they. But actually, I'm not. So what does that mean?
Specific role and calling. I don't think Jesus would have been able to do what he did if he was married, but not everybody has that. Very specific call.
Yeah. Not everyone is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
100%.
Jesus actually if Jesus and Paul did actually yearn for them things, or like shut it off.
Well, the thing is, the Bible does say that Jesus faced every temptation that humans did. He felt everything that we did.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he did. Yeah. I'm guessing he felt that pull, and I really just want to have a wife. I want to be married. Ara said the worst advice is you need to be content on your own before you go searching.
I don't think that's true. Because you can never get like 100% fully like content.
No, you can't. Yeah. I don't think you can. I personally think that is a big lie. Personally, I think you can be healthy on your own, and it makes dating healthier.
Wait until you're a bit healthier.
You can, but in terms of being completely content on your own, and in terms of sitting there saying, right, I'm really okay with being single, so now I'm ready to find someone. I think if you're not okay being single, you can still be healthy and whole and still not okay being single. You can be both things. And so it's not like when I'm healthy and whole, that means I'm going to be completely all right with this. No, if you're not all right with it, you're not all right with it. And that's it. Mm-hmm. If you're uncomfortable with that and that's not what you want for your life, that's not what you want for your life. What I don't like as well is the advice that we give to women.
What's the advice that you give to women?
To just busy yourself with God. Just wait. And he will find you, because the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Yeah. Proverbs 18:22. But I don't like that, because actually, you just sitting around and waiting to be found. You have to go out and do something about it. And I think a lot of women, they'll take that scripture and we'll just sit in our rooms and expect the man to break into our house and find us. But it's just not going to work like that. Life doesn't work like that. And so I don't like that advice. Just keep just busying yourself, and he'll pop up somewhere. What if you don't?
And then equally, would you recommend a woman to go out and start asking a load of guys out?
No, I think you have to be strategic. So I think men in general, and maybe you can tell me more about this, but do men prefer to chase women?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think as a woman, you don't want to take that away. You don't want to take. There was no other women. There was no other option. That was it. I knew that you were going to say yes, so I just didn't even think of another option because that was it. But men prefer to chase women. So as a woman, you don't want to take that away from the game of dating. You want to leave that, but you can be strategic and position yourself in the right place so that he can find you to chase. Because
you can go up and talk to them, but like just don't be explicit. Like, hey,
I want you.
Because the chase is a big part for the guy. You know, we get the dopamine, the adrenaline. Like, we feel kind of alive when
you're the one that's initiated it.
We feel quite manly. Yeah. We feel quite manly, I think.
Yeah.
One that initiates, and then so don't take that away from the guy.
Don't take that away.
It's a bit of you feel a bit demasculated, I think.
Interesting.
If the girl is leading, I think.
Yeah, I think that as well, which is why I do think as women, as much as we shouldn't sit there, we also shouldn't take the lead in that, because I do feel as though if a man wants to be with you, he will be with you. And so when we kind of push it too much, we can get ourselves hurt. But I do definitely think that you can position yourself in the right place to be seen. Yeah. You can give him an eye, give him a beeline,
a little touch, just like a
little something, just to let him know if you were to chase me, I would run very slow. Just a little something to let him know that
very slow.
I would have run really slowly, and you would probably catch me. But I'm gonna run a bit. Just because it's the game.
That fake run.
The fake run. I will fake run away. Just so you know. But I do think that, we need to position ourselves in the right place. We can't just sit and pay no attention to any man ever and expect them to know that we want to be found. You have to do things to let them know. I want to be found. I'm ready to be found now. And that's it. What advice do you think men get that isn't good
in terms of like pursuing women?
In terms of pursuing women, in terms of dating.
Sometimes men wait too long. Like, I think there's no harm in just like rolling the dice, like initiating earlier. I don't think there's any harm. I think sometimes I've been victim of this. Like, you meet someone, you like someone, you become friends, but then it just you kind of miss the opportunity, and then you just get stuck in this friendship zone, friend zone. So I would tell people to kind of initiate earlier, sooner rather than later, and then because also it's if you are really, really good friends, like it can really derail the friendship. Be prepared. Like, I mean, I've had that happen to me. Like, just the friendship might not even exist if you wait. Like, if you tell someone you like them, feelings, and you're really good friends, that sometimes that is up for grabs. It's up to be lost. So I would say initiate early, and then just see, and low stake. Don't make it very high stakes in the beginning. Just take it slow. Take it slow, but it's also it's a romantic context.
When you say low stakes, do you mean like not taking them on massive big dates, or not putting your heart in quickly?
I am a victim. I'm definitely
taking people on massive big dates. Is that what you've done?
You should see me, Cass.
What do you do? What kind of things do you do?
I just get excited. I just get excited, and then I kind of get I kind of live out all these like fantasies that I've always wanted to live out, and then I take a girl out for like a really nice meal after like 2 months of dating, or we'll go on like a mini trip, without just when it's not warranted. We're not there yet, but I get carried away, and so I'm trying to get better at that. Just keeping it low stakes, and then just move. What does the relationship warrant at this time? Does it warrant a very like the nicest place in town, or
is it Mackey's? Is it Mackey's?
Yeah, the commitment level should match the gestures. Like, if you're just dating,
Yeah.
You should wait until there's a better commitment level. And same with the intimacy level. Like, commitment level should match the intimacy level and the gestures that you're doing.
I think that's good. That's very good. Yeah. Oh, you're right. If you are just joining, by the way, this is we don't have a name for this. It's just Salt chatting. Salt chats. Rob and Cassandra chatting about stuff, chatting about life. And today we're talking about the worst advice that we get as Christian singles. And please do drop in the chat what advice you've gotten that you just don't like, and you hear it.
I'll tell you what, the best advice I was ever given, I think I might mention it before, but I read a book by Henry Cloud, the Boundaries guy.
Yeah.
He's written a book called How to Find a Date Worth Keeping. And the biggest message in that is be open. Like, go on dates. Go on dates with people you don't even find attractive, because you never know. And like, he was just very encouraging openness and like being open to people, and that's probably the biggest change the biggest impact that piece of advice I've had.
I think that's a good piece of advice. How did you take that into your life? Did you just start giving?
Yeah, I just started like approaching girls that, like, if I would get into a conversation with a girl and there wasn't like, not that I just like absolutely was obsessed with her, but like, if there was a little spark, I would just kind of lean into it more. Hey, maybe we should, go out sometime. And then when you go on that date, it's like, oh, okay, there is something here. And I think just being more open with backgrounds, more open with ages, more open with, looks, skill set. That's not saying like it's come all kind of an open door policy for Rob Morgan, but it's, I've got to have some borders. But we, faith is still a non-compromise thing.
Yeah.
Still got to have a relationship with the Lord. That's something that isn't really
compromisable.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny? I was reading a blog on this, and the guy said the worst advice he was given was, if they're Christian, that's good enough. And he said,
really?
he said that's really bad advice. He said, if they're a Christian and nothing else matters, it's just not good. He said he was with someone and he went by that philosophy. They were Christian. He thought, well, if they're Christian, it's okay, but they weren't good people. And he said, you have to take other things into consideration. So I think that's interesting advice.
I've had that. People call themselves Christians. They even go to church, but they're just like, they want to go out for some nice food, or like, just because they say they're Christian or even go to church doesn't mean that they're living it out.
Yeah, it doesn't. And so you have to look at all the other things. Rob, what's something, like you said, I mean, you've already shared some good advice, but what's some other good advice that you've gotten in your years of dating that you've been like, you know what? Yeah, I can, that's good.
I think also, like, I think we spoke a bit about it last time. Just like, for a guy, like, looks, it's not always about looks. And, like, I always thought I was really ugly, and like, really, I was like short and like not like attractive.
You thought you were that?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
Yeah. So I always thought I was at a deficit. That's probably why I kind of lead with so much like humor and extreme personality, because I feel like I have to make up. I feel like I have to make up for the exterior. So like, otherwise I'm going to get missed. So I think, for a guy, like, looks it's not a big deal actually, and like, you can woo a woman with personality and how you act. That, because guys think women think how they think, which is not true. And like, guys are very visual and very physical in the beginning stages. So like, I thought that was the same for women, but really, if you're a guy, like, you don't. You can be. Yeah, it's not all about looks, I would say.
It's not all about looks. So some good advice for you was to, well, I guess, work on your character and charisma.
Yeah, but I suppose it kind of came out. I'm kind of glad I thought, like, because I got all this charisma because of my thought patterns, maybe. So, yeah, but like, I think, also like, there's not, I think the league system is a bit, that's not, when she's out of your league, or I don't know if that's true. Like, because I feel like guys can approach any woman.
You can get anybody.
Yeah, like if you make them laugh and you make them care, make them safe, like you could probably. I think the league system is out of whack.
So essentially, no one is out of your league, and you know what? That is actually, I think, really great because no one should be deemed out of your league. B, it really helps, I guess, you and people in general, if you take on that philosophy, to be able to just approach anyone that you think you might look at them and think, oh, they're too good for me. Oh, I would, that's just, how am I going to get that person? But if I'm a child of God, actually. And if I feel as though I could approach this person, I have a great character, I can absolutely approach them. No one is out of my league. I think that's a really great way to look at yourself. You know what piece of advice that I think I would give?
Go on then.
And this may be a piece of advice that you can take it or you cannot take it. But I would say that you have to see dating as trying to find a job.
Oh, okay.
And I think you have to take the emotion out of it. And I think what I mean by that is, I think you have to do it as, if you're applying for like a job or a mortgage or something, and they give you certain things that you need to do. So they're like, right, before you can apply for this mortgage, you need to be earning this amount. You need to have good credit score. You need to do these things. And then you work through the list and then you'll get your mortgage in the end. I think dating needs to be that. This is one of the most serious and important decisions you will ever make in your life. The person that you're going to spend your life with. And so you have to take it seriously. Open a spreadsheet and I know that sounds really scientific, but open a spreadsheet. If you're talking to different people, fill in the notes, compare. How do you feel? Sometimes it's, I think we lead with emotions quite a lot.
Yeah.
And you should always, when you meet someone, I feel as though there needs to be you need to be drawn to them. But also, you just do what you have to do, you have to see it as a job. See it as what do I do to get this thing? What steps do I need to take? What can I do? Take a scientific approach.
It's very hard. Like when if someone rejects you, it doesn't work out. It's hard to take it. I feel like self-worth is.
It's hard.
It's very it's more.
It's tough, and then emotions do come into it. But I think the more that you see you have to see it as. You can't take it personally, and that's kind of it. And you do take it personally because it is a very personal thing. Someone don't like you, and that is the most personal thing.
It's like somebody has looked under the hood of your the bonnet, seen the engine, and gone
nah, that's not.
That is
and then slammed it shut,
and then won't speak to you ever again.
And then will never speak to you ever again.
That is honestly traumatic.
It's very traumatic, and dating is really hard, and I think we don't give ourselves enough grace to just deal with that. But if you do see this as a science experiment, you won't feel that as much because you'll be like, right, you know what, they weren't for me. I don't know what it is that they didn't like about me or what they did like about me, but I'm not their person, and that's fine. Move on.
I like the job interview metaphor because if you're dating someone and they keep rescheduling dates, would you hire someone who kept rescheduling job interviews? No,
you wouldn't. You absolutely wouldn't. You'd be like, they're clearly not interested. Let me just leave them alone then.
Yeah, you should treat dates as interviews. If they need to turn up, they need to be on time.
Yeah,
wear smart stuff. And then also it works. If someone does hand in their resignation, which happens, you have that's a final thing. I think often when people break up, the person who has been broken up with will we'll try and keep in contact. We'll try just salvage some of the connection. But when someone has like, it takes a lot for someone to make that decision. And like a job, an employer, when you hand in your resignation, that's the final decision.
It's done.
And you can't really go back.
Yeah, you just have to accept that that's it. And it's hard because yes, we are emotional beings, and we lead with emotion. But I do feel as though the more we see dating as right, the marriage is what the end goal is. That's the end. That's what we want. We want to get married. And so the path to get to that, it's going to be same as finding your most perfect job. The path that you're going to have to interview through different people, or your most perfect employee, you're going to have to interview different people. You're going to have to do different things. You're going to have to, try all different kinds of dates. And it's just checking off little check boxes. Right, I've tried to date that person, didn't work. Let's move on to the next. You just have to see it as an experiment.
Maybe next time I'll do a group interview.
Okay, let's do a little wrap up because we've got like a minute left. Okay. So go for it. What's some of the first worst advice that you've been given, and then best advice, and what would you say to people now, or even yourself? How would you encourage yourself in the Lord?
My advice is like God will bring you someone. Like God's got the one for you. It is a romantic idea, but it's just not true. Like, I'm not sorry, guys. There's many people for you, and
interesting. We didn't touch on that, but that's a very interesting.
We'll get into that. Yeah, I think growing up on Disney and romantic comedies, Notting Hill, Love Actually, like you kind of you believe in you want to believe that there's this one person that God ordained for you, that He had in mind. But there's so many options, and you're not going to miss it if it doesn't work out with someone, because God is good at restoring opportunity. And so I would and I would just say to myself, if I was like 20, like my 20-year-old self, just ask her out, Rob. Just ask her out. Like, don't spend years liking them and don't do anything about it. Just initiate. If they say no, it's more about them than you. And don't get stuck in idealism and just be more open, I would say. And also, like I said, it's okay to not be okay about it's okay to not want to be single. Yeah. I feel like everyone's like, you just got to learn to be fine with it. No, maybe I don't want to be, I don't want this lifestyle, man. Maybe I do want to get married. Maybe I do want to have a family. And it's okay to be not happy being single. I would really stress that.
Yeah, no, I think that's really great. I think you said 3 really great points there. Especially there's just not one person for you out there. There's a whole lot of people. I love that. That's a really great point.
Yeah.
We're going to definitely have to do one about that. Is there a one, or is there
the one?
The one versus the many ones.
Yeah, but not loads of ones. Not everyone.
Not everyone's the one. Not everyone's the one. Gosh. So my worst advice is just sit and wait and busy yourself in things. Don't sit and wait and busy yourself. Listen, get out there, put yourself out in different ways, even if you don't like them, even if you find them annoying. You have to do it's a bit like weight loss. No one likes eating disciplined and weighing their food and eating veg all the time. No one likes that. No. But if you want a goal, you want to get to where you need to get to, you need to just do this thing for a short period of time, 6 months, a year, and you will find someone if you do all the things. It's impossible for you to not, because unless you're just not a great person, if you do all the things that you're meant to do, you don't find someone.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
100%. Yeah. Like, to say that you can't get a date is...
You can get a date. You can find someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there are definitely people, and they'll be like, but I've tried everything and I just can't find a date. No, you can. You haven't tried everything. You haven't. There's no way. It's not possible. So I would say definitely get up, get out, do the things, be intentional. And what would I say to myself when I was single? I'd say those things. Get up, get out, be intentional, and keep having hope. And like May always said, take some breaks, because it can be quite draining.
Yeah. And you can get hurt. You can get hurt.
Reality
too.
You can definitely get hurt. So take the breaks and heal when you need to heal, but don't be out of the game for too long.
No, yeah.
Because the game is the game.